If you've been listening to the podcast for a while and thought, man, I would love to grab a drink and pick the brain of some of these guests I've been listening to, or maybe me as well, here's your shot. I'm putting on an event this April called Elevate. This is the third year doing this, and we're going to be in Phoenix, Arizona, where we're going to have the top agency owners really come together, share what's working, get real on what's not, and really help each other scale faster. So if you're ready to finally get out of the weeds and grow your agency the right way, I want you to join me and 50 other amazing 7 and 8 figure agencies at Elevate. You'll connect with people who've been there, leave with a real growth plan, and actually enjoy the process. Now, we only have a few tickets left, so make sure you go over to elevatemyagency.com to lock in your spot now. Go to elevatemyagency.com now. You're listening to the Smart Agency Masterclass with me, Jason Swank, and we're bringing you this episode courtesy of our friends at Wix Studio. Let's go ahead and get into the show. Hey, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, tell us who you are and what you do.
So my name is Gilad. I'm the CEO and founder of Moburst. We've been around in the last 11 years, and basically we started as a mobile marketing agency, very small, very niche for the app world. And from there kind of grew into a digital transformation with all types of services from creative, strategy, media buying, organic, and obviously development of different products, whether it's websites or apps. So kind of a well-rounded agency to help you to overachieve your growth goals.
I remember when I started my agency, there was a distinction between digital agencies and traditional. And then when mobile came out, it was mobile and then social and, now AI. And it's kind of funny. It's like, especially for people who like, I'm a mobile agency. I'm like, well, you have to be like everyone's on their mobile devices. It's cool to kind of see the different stages we went, because when I started the agency world, it was really kind of traditional and websites. There was no social, there was nothing. And then it's cool how all these different specializations have grown from there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that when we started in 2013, most digital agencies say, yeah, of course, we know how to do mobile. No problem at all. You have an app? Of course. Give me $50,000. Let's start to test run it and see how it goes. And they didn't know anything about the tracking. They didn't know how to actually solve all of the things about the headaches related to cookies and understanding how the user tracks and the UI and the UX. They just took the desktop version, put it on the mobile, like smaller device and saying, yeah, sure, scroll down, scroll up, scroll to the sides. That's okay. And we found it as a massive opportunity because we said that this is just wrong. Doesn't make any sense. And we started as a mobile first type of an agency where we said like, on that specific niche, like within digital, you have mobile, within mobile apps, but on that niche, I know better than anyone. And that's kind of how we got into the market. And I think that differentiator really helped us to establish ourselves as an agency, because when you're working with large clients or kind of getting into those large clients, you need to tell them like, that they have the creative agency, they have the digital agency, they have an agency for everything. How the hell do you get in? And with that niche of showing them that this part is not being taken care of by anyone, that's a good entry point to show them how much they're missing out and where they can actually scale even further.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up because, when we started our agency, we led with digital first. And that's how we got into some of the biggest players in the world. Then we led with developing applications on the web. And that's how we got in. And yeah, I could definitely see that with mobile. I definitely see that right now with AI, even though everyone's saying that they're AI experts and they know everything about it. I'm like, I don't know about knowing everything about it. And it's so hard to determine who really knows their stuff or not.
So I think that knowing who knows their stuff or not, I think that's something that if you are having a deep discussion for an hour and a half with the team, you know what they know and you also know what they don't know. I feel like everyone can flash all of the, hey, look at this is what we've done in here and here. And that was infused by AI. But at the end of the day, when you start asking, okay, so how do you build these type of products and how are you actually going in? Which type of systems are you integrating? Where do you see the problems? Which one is better for you? ChatGPT 5 or Gemini 2.5 on these specific things, on VO 3 using these specific things for videos? How do you actually make sure that the lip syncing is perfect if it's a video or if it's more on the side of creating products? Like, okay, are you using N8N? Are you using like all of the different tools that are kind of connecting all of those things together? Are you programming that by yourself and how to actually use all of the APIs, the restrictions, things that it does well, things that it does really poorly today? So once you start getting kind of under the hood, you really start understanding if this is a salesperson that says, yeah, everything is AI, or you know what, there are specific things that they know the nuances of things that I've experienced as myself that didn't work. Like they don't fool me. Like I can spot that pretty quickly. So I think that always, like if you're really expert in your field, people know that, and if you don't, it's also something that can be shown pretty fast.
Well, it's also it goes back to what I've always told people to do, and this is what we did when we were selling, is explain to people and be that challenger, be that consultation or that strategic advisor. And just like how you put it, going, well, do you really need an N8N integration or do you need something custom programmed? Walk me through what you need and then I'll give you the recommendation, right? Like it's the adage of, selling someone something that they need versus what you want to sell them. And if you can kind of do it the consultative way, then they understand it. Like I would explain our process for building websites where they would compare everyone else to us versus saying, yeah, I do it.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's exactly how we kind of come from the mobile marketing side to actually ask them questions and kind of provoke them. Okay, so what is more important, like the messaging on the screenshots or the keywords that are there to impact the algorithm of the apps on Google Play Store? Because based on the keywords that you chose, it doesn't look like you're giving too much emphasis for the organic side of things and how the algorithm ranks you for those things. And have you given any thought about those type of things? And then the clients start asking themselves, hey, you know what? There is something more than just designing beautiful screenshots. That's pretty easy. And the same thing goes with AI. It's like exactly the same. Like most of the clients that at least we are talking to, they're not really aware of all of the differences. Everyone's saying, yeah, we do AI as well. Everything is AI automated and things of that nature. But then, a lot of clients asking about, okay, how do you deal with my data? And what are the things that are actually trained or not trained? And then lots of different things that if you're not really very honest about what you do well and what you don't do well, it's going to be attacking you basically when you're coming to a procurement side, if it's a more sophisticated client, or if it's not a sophisticated client on the delivery of month number 2, it will not work. It will not generate what you want. So I feel like we hope that clients are doing good enough due diligence to understand who knows what they're doing and who will say, let's figure it out together, type of a thing.
I want to talk about, you've acquired a number of different agencies. Walk me through why and where did you start?
So basically, we started in a very non-comfortable type of place. We started as a small agency back in Tel Aviv in 2013, and we helped a lot of different startups to overachieve their growth goals. And they came to their investors and showed, hey, look at that. We've done this in 2 months or 3 months and unlocked all of that growth. And their investors basically came to us and said, well, we believe in this company, but we also believe in you. And we want to basically write you guys a check and be part of your agency as well. And that kind of took us into a different route where we raised $2.4 million. Even though that we are an agency, we build a lot of technologies, a lot of automations, a lot of the things that are not that standard for an agency, and still got full control of the company and still continued on growing. Managed to grow to a pretty big size when we are helping clients like Google and Uber and Samsung and Robinhood and those type of beasts with Microsoft and with very large names when you're thinking about these type of things, going from startups to massive startups and then enterprise. And basically when we grew that in 2017, we looked on our numbers and the growth was there, but the profitability wasn't there at all. And we lost a lot of money doing this type of very fast growth because we didn't have the right systems in place. So in 2017, we saw that we are losing and bleeding kind of $50,000 to $70,000 a month, even though that we are bringing another 10 clients every month, which is very non-traditional. And we also said, like, the investors, when we talked to them, basically they said, well, continue on pushing. If you need more money, take more money. But the first agreement doesn't matter that much. Like, get your foot in the door. In 2 years, 3 years, everyone will know mobile. If you're getting your foot in the door with these type of beasts, the second agreement and third agreement will be okay. And we didn't want to continue in this route. So we made a very sad type of decision. We let go of a lot of our clients back in the day. We let go a lot of the staff back in the day. They said account that it can be profitable. We don't want it. Like, it's not healthy. There is no reason for us to bleed on clients that are publicly traded, and we just over servicing them every single month just because of agreements that were wrong. So we've done every single mistake in the book. And in 2018, we kind of said we are going into a reset stage, and we only want to keep the clients that are profitable for us, that are good for us, and we believe that we can actually build with them something amazing. So 2018 was our first profitable year, and in 2018 we said one of the clients that we've had back then, it was I think it was Discovery and Samsung. Video became a big deal, and with video becoming a big deal on the mobile side, we said you can't fake it till you make it. Like, we have a creative studio, but we didn't have the video capabilities to sell videos for a company that has 17 TV channels. It doesn't work this way. If you want to create them videos, you need to really take the deepest approach there. And we acquired a team there to help us. We worked with a team for a year and a half that was kind of a subcontractor of ours to help us to create those videos. We saw that the collaboration was fantastic. The DNA really matched, and we said, let's just kind of swallow them into the agency. And that was our first acquisition in 2019. It was 50% of the agency was a video production studio, and the other 50% was web design. The web design wasn't as interesting as a strategic for us at this stage. The video production was the thing that we needed the most. But the funny thing is that in the next 3 years, we managed to 6x that agency on the size of what they are doing. And the thing that actually grew the fastest was not the video side, but actually the web design side. And we said, okay, if this is really booming and we are kind of becoming, this is not just a mobile marketing anymore, like, it's more digital because it's web design and it's video you can do for every single company out there. They made 1,500 videos for massive organizations before that. So, like, we have a much broader offering, and that got us to 2022 when we acquired another agency. That's like, we looked at it and like 2020 and 2021 were fantastic, even though COVID, even though everything that happened there. What made the acquisition in 2019 so good was that this was the thing that we outsourced the most. Like we said, like the thing that we outsourced the most was video production. That was the need. We saw that the client needed it. We have a solution there that we are kind of tying together. And we said, what is our biggest expense in 2021 for vendors, for outside vendors? And we saw that was development. Because we were doing the web design, we didn't do the development. We done the UI, the UX, but not the actual coding of those sites. So that gave us...
So did you buy the strategic partner that you were using? Or did you buy someone else?
No. We worked with an agency. We saw that it was working really fantastically. And we just made an offer for the two founders of that agency to join us in an offer that they couldn't refuse. And basically, we swallowed them in and started working together. And that was exactly the same model in 2022 when we acquired the dev shop with web development and app development, that we said, this is exactly the same thing. Let's create a project or two together. Let's see that the collaboration is done well together. And then let's go all in and kind of get us from dating to marriage and getting us ingrained into their team ingrained into our company as well. So that's kind of how we are building that. And we've done also the last 3 acquisitions in the last year. All 3 acquisitions were done as well in the PR, in the podcasting side, to actually add us more sets of capabilities and getting the founders together with us in this journey.
When you acquire someone, are they losing that name, or are you just bringing them under your umbrella right away?
Fantastic question. So it really depends on their brand authority in the market. So with the first acquisition that was Clutch in 2019, that was another team in Israel. And I think that they had great companies that were working with them, but their brand wasn't as strong. And we felt like, let's just blend it in and be one. With Lair in 2022, they had much bigger brand reputation. So we kept their own website. Now it's just like Lair by Moburst. And basically, if you are coming into their site, you'll see that they're part of a much bigger group. With the PR agency in Orlando, that was probably our biggest acquisition thus far. That was in December 24. So they have 27 employees in Florida, in Orlando, because it's PR. Every single one of the PR that you are submitting, you have it's by Uproar, and saying, okay, wait a minute, like we don't want to lose all of that authority. So we are rebuilding the website as Uproar by Moburst, and we are kind of redeveloping the entire brand assets there. So if someone comes to Mobiles, they see that I have all of those sets of capabilities. But if someone is aware, like in Y Combinator, they are very well known, for example, in a lot of companies they're recommending on. So if someone is looking for Uproar, that they won't going to be vanished into the world, but we will be able to get that. So we have kind of a few different gateways to continue on getting everything that we can from both sides. And it really helps us also with AEO, with how the LLMs are ranking us, because you can't be ranked for everything number one. But if you're doing a great job on podcasting and PR and like, it's just adding more assets that keeps on getting us more leads. And all of that comes to one unified system that we can actually see who actually needs to talk with whom or about what.
Awesome. I want to ask you too on kind of structures of deals that obviously you've done a couple acquisitions. What kind of structure do you like the most that worked out? Because there's people out there that, they'll say, oh, you can buy an agency for nothing down. I used to buy agencies with 50% cash and 50% in equity in the new entity that they're rolling up into. There's 1,000 ways to do it. What's a way that you feel that's worked best for you?
So I think that when you're looking on these type of deal structures, we're trying to put it as 4 different legs into each and every deal. One of them is cash up front, because we know that they want to take something home for all of the hard work. Obviously, it could be 30%, could be 50%, could be 20%. Again, we even done one, the latest deal that we've done, it was all shares type of a thing, because it's just someone that really believed in what we do and just wanted to be part of something big. And usually the structure is like 4 legs, as I started to mention. So we have the cash component, we have the equity component, we have the dividends, which is a great incentive because we are distributing dividends every year. So that part is you can also kind of project to them how much they will actually get out of that as well. Even if it's like reverse vesting on the options, we are giving them the ability to enjoy the 100% of the dividends from day one from their share. And the fourth element is the bonus from their business unit, because I want them to continue on working on the profit margin of what they've done before, and not because they're now part of a bigger deal, a bigger company. I want them to make sure that they are continue focusing on their own department and continue maximizing the growth there. So again, it will be a win-win-win for the next 3 or 4 years. So that's how we are structuring all of those deals with 4.
And no earnout?
So I think that the earnout is based on the profit margin that you're making out of your business unit each and every year. So if you're making basically, if you're getting 10% or 20% of what your business unit is making, it's kind of an earnout as it is, because every single year you're getting a heavy bonus on top of the dividends that you'll get, on top of the fact that your shares worth more, and on top of the fact that you got cash up front. So it is kind of serving as an earnout, but then a yearly earnout every single year for us to continue on building something big together. Like we want to make sure that all of the interests are fully aligned. And we found that was kind of the system that was working best for us in the 5 acquisitions that we've made.
Look, your agency adapts for every client, right? Your builder should do the same. That's why Wix Studio is built for the way you actually create. AI-powered site mapping lets you get straight down to the design. Whether you shape things in Figma or start in Studio, your vision's coming to life quicker with no-code animations and built-in responsiveness. And for client growth that actually scale, you've got extendable business solutions and a dynamic CMS. Scale your agency at wixstudio.com.
I like it. I want to kind of go back to when you raised money. What was the decision? Because not many people raise money in the agency world. They do. The agency that bought us, they raised money from private equity and that kind of stuff. So what would you do the same? Would you raise money knowing everything you know now?
Wow. You have fantastic questions. I think that the way that we got, I think that if we wouldn't raise capital, we wouldn't be that bullish in the US market. I think that we would probably be still stuck in the Israeli market. Like the investment basically allowed me to hire a general manager in New York and a team in New York, and then relocate myself and my family to New York to actually start leading that office, and then opening the San Francisco office and continue on growing. Without that, I would probably be a great agency in Israel, but I would be very local agency. And getting outside of that, I feel like it's something that really opened us the door. So I think that if I wouldn't raise, I wouldn't be able to be in the size that we are today and in the way of growth that we were today. And also developing a lot of technologies on automations. And today world, everyone everyone talking about AI and automations and processes enhancements and things of that nature. But we always had a dashboard for our clients on one-stop shop to see what works for them on iOS, on Android, on the web, and on each and every one of the operation systems, all the way to the creative performance on each and every channel. It's not something that is that straightforward on the mobile side of things. And digital, it's a bit easier. So we always kind of got one step ahead of our competitors, just because we were heavily investing into not just right here, right now, but also future growth, which is something that a lot of agencies are neglecting on doing and kind of saying, let's take a bit more dividends. This year wasn't that fantastic. Let's preserve cash and things of that nature. And I think that it allowed us to think much outside of the box and kind of be more bullish. But I think that it's another thing that is really important. We have one board seat to represent all of our 11 investors, for example. And that board seat cannot overrule anything that me and my co-founder wants to do. So basically, we have the full control of, we created a structure where we say, we would love the introductions that you can bring. We would love the capabilities that you can bring. The fact that there are also a lot of different VCs and things of that nature that gave us a lot of introductions and opened us a lot of doors to potential clients. It gave us a lot of tailwind that we really needed. But at the same time, you cannot block us from doing something that you didn't want, like the 2017 saying, hey, you know what? We are letting go of people. We don't want to make another down round or something like that. We just want to make it a much more effective type of growth.
So you only took money once?
So we took money. It's funny. We took money 3 times, but each and every one of them, it was like percentage, like 6% dilution. Like it's something very, very small, very non-standard for VC. Usually take 20 to 30% each and every round. It wasn't something like that at all, because we didn't have to raise the funds, and B, the investors came to us. I think the first investment that was made was $340,000, and they took 6% ownership of the company, and it was like a big accelerator. And from there, we kind of told the world, hey, we're opening the New York branch. We're going through all of those things. We just raised some capital that allows us to actually become bigger and faster on many things. And then other investors of other clients of ours came back to say, hey, you know what? If you're raising capital, we also want to give you a check. And then, hey, okay, it's another $500,000 in a valuation instead of 6 million, 10 million valuation, then 16 million valuation for another 1.6. So it wasn't planned. It wasn't like we were going after getting fundraising. It was just like great opportunities that came in front of us. As we said, it's ridiculous not to move forward with that.
How big were you when you first raised the first round?
6 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of people listening. They're like, I mean, that's what I love about the show. That's what I love about when we get together in our masterminds. Like, there's 1,000 ways to do it, and you have to figure out the way that works for you. You know, like with the agency that, we had, not the first one, the second one that we did, I owned a small percentage, and the agency did a round of investment, and they gave too much power and too many seats of the board to the wrong people. And then those people stopped their growth, which led to not hitting the numbers based on the loans that they got, that made it go down the tubes, right? So that was my experience. And then I've talked to a couple friends that have raised money before, and they go, once you raise money, you're always raising money. You're always like, because the investors, they're in control, and they're always wanting you to hit certain numbers or certain, metrics, which always makes you make a decision based on what's best for the stockholder versus the actual client versus your actually team. So I'm glad you did it very different.
Yeah. I completely with you. And I think that's where we made the unpopular decision in 2017. And a lot of the investors said, well, if you're making that decision and actually firing your employees and firing your clients instead of taking more capital, we are basically wiping that in our books. Basically, we made the wrong decision on you guys, and said, we're really sorry about you feeling that way. But the fact that I have clients that I'm over servicing them and I'm basically losing on them $120,000 a year.
Did you go to the client before you got rid of them and said, look, we're losing money on you, we're going to raise the rates, and then they just left?
So I worked with a massive gaming company called Playtica back in the day, and we started working with them in 2015. And we started with one studio with one app of theirs, and then it grew to 2 apps, and then to another studio with another 2 apps, and then another studio with another 2 apps. And we just duplicated the agreement, saying, hey, now we are giving you more business, exactly in the same model, but it was like $3,000 or $4,000 a month for a retainer for a very small subset of apps optimization, something very, very specific back in the day. And we were bleeding on that on the first one. We said, hey, you know what, that's okay, but this is our entry ticket to show them the growth. And we managed to get them, crazy numbers of growth. So they kept on bragging about it in other studios and basically told more, and we got more business. But because the model was so broken, when we came to them and kind of tried to renegotiate the deal, the CFO said, well, guys, when we signed with you initially, it was only one app. Now we are working with 6 apps of mine. I want a discount. Not just that I won't going to give you more. And we said, we are sorry, we can't handle that. Like we are basically bleeding on that every single month. And we needed to let go of a company that back then, it was before their IPO, but they were booming like crazy. And we were so passionate of working with them. The collaboration with their team was fantastic. Everything was working amazingly. But that deal structure didn't make any sense for us and we couldn't repair it.
It's shocking how many agencies are working with clients that are losing them money. And the scope creep, they didn't price it right in the very beginning. And they think, well, they're paying me $200,000 a month. That's keeping some of my team employed. But I'm like, no. Even if you're breaking even, you're losing opportunity costs and losing money. So, just everyone listening, take that as a big lesson, you went through of going, well, I got to get rid of these clients. And if that means I have to get rid of some of the team members, you have to do it. It's kind of like starting over on a Monopoly board, right? Like just start with a game.
It was a very hard month for us. I was back then based in New Jersey. I came back to Israel for 9 months just to make sure that we are stabilizing everything. And then the people that we actually kept with us that will not say, hey, everything is falling apart, but actually will stay on ship and we'll show them how we are building it right. Because back in the day, we didn't have the systems in place to see why and where we are bleeding hours. So we knew that, hey, we need more people. We keep on getting more clients. Obviously, let's hire more. And then the account directors are saying, hey, I'm working now 220 hours a month, 250 hours a month. I have to get more support. We said, yeah, of course you have to. It doesn't make any sense. Let's get you another one and continue on enlarging the team while the contract didn't basically serve that. Like we started with, if it was a monthly cadence as we were agreeing with them, that was fine. But they started asking a bi-weekly reports and then a weekly report and then like a lot of different custom things that I wasn't even aware of all of the nuances that they asked from the team, and the team always want to delight their clients. So sure, we'll do that. And then you're basically doing 4x more work than what we were intended to and still get paid peanuts. So that was a really bad deal, and we just needed to cut that cord. But, with other clients, even though the cost reduction and everything, we kept Google, we kept Samsung, we kept a lot of those beasts and helped them to do fantastic. And it was also a good agreement for us. So, when it's a win-win, it's classic. When it's not, you need to come back to the client and saying, well, we need to renegotiate the deal, or it's not a good fit. And I'm sorry about that, but it's not working for us as well. And it's not that straightforward for agencies to let go of their clients.
It's tough, but like I was speaking at a conference last week, and the conference was all about buying to solve your problems. And it's like, you can buy an agency to solve your problem. Like it's not that easy. I don't believe in that. And there was one agency owner I was chatting with. I was like, look, why do you want to buy an agency? And they're like, well, I want to fix, I want to get more profitable so I can sell. And I'm like, well, how's your pipeline? And they're like, oh, the pipeline's great. And I go, okay, if you doubled your pricing, because that's usually like how you can get more profitable, would you have a pipeline? He goes, no. I'm like, well, you got a pipeline problem. And you don't need to buy an agency unless they have huge pipelines and all the clients that you want, but it's all about knowing your number of what you need to be profitable, knowing which clients are going to make you money, which clients are losing you money. I mean, it's just things that as an agency owner, I didn't look at for a number of different years.
I can't blame you at all. I just have to tell you that one of the things that we discovered during those acquisitions is that a lot of the clients that we are bringing on, we are trying to get into things that we haven't done before. So when I'm getting, just for example, when we bought the PR agency, they had around 40 to 50 retainers, for example, every month. And we came to those retainers and said, well, guys, we know that you were served only till now, only on the PR side. Then we're now part of a much bigger agency. And now we can give you a free audit, for example, for your website, how it functions, or your media buying, or the creative side, or things of that nature. Give you a free audit. You don't need to pay anything for that. And usually we're requesting a lot of money for those type of audits on RFPs and things of that nature. But in here, we are giving you that as a freebie just to see under the hood and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And as part of that, we brought 2 clients, for example, that were paying around $9,000 a month to become a Morbus client of $55,000 a month with multiple services that now we are doing their media buying and the creative and fixing their website and doing a lot of different things about the user journey. And now we are bringing them much more value and it's much more cohesive type of a plan for them. So the PR playing one part that is much more integral with all of the other digital components, which wasn't connected before. So the PR is working better and the digital is working better. And it's like a massive win-win for them. So when you're acquiring additional agencies, I think that like looking on synergies about if they do the same thing that you do, and yeah, you get more clientele. But if they're not doing what you do, and it's something that adds another type of a value, then everything could be cross-sell and upsell for both sides, and then it's a much bigger potential win. So 1 + 1 = much more than 2.
Well, that's what I like how you go about figuring out who you're going to buy next. Where we went wrong was we're buying revenue. We were buying EBITDA. We weren't looking at it strategically and going, which is the biggest expense to other agencies or other companies? And then plus you're trying them out. So you've been dating a long time. You know the culture fit. You know how they work. You know kind of the ins and outs. It makes it an easy decision, especially if you become one of their biggest clients. Now you kind of dictate a little bit the evaluation because you're like, Jason, I own you, right? Like I'm 90% of your revenue. I can go find someone else, buy someone else, and then your whole revenue is gone. So I guess it's kind of a hostile takeover sometimes, but a nice way. You're paying them for the work. But I've had members in the past that have done things like that, and it's worked out great for everyone. But I appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing your strategy, and congrats on all the success. And it's always good to hear, and I'll have to have you come back on so we can talk more about AI later on, but I want to respect everybody's time. So everyone listening, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, subscribe. And if you want to be a part of an amazing agency community, go to agencymastery.io, check us out, and we can have a conversation. And maybe we'll see you at one of our next events. Take care.